No, because then you're not in frame.
Alright guys, welcome back to the podcast. Silly Salmon, Slippery Sillers. We're joined here by Captain Conservation.
Squirrely Finn.
Alright, in today's episode we'll be talking about the
steelhead and how they're dying, basically.
Yeah, so how they're spawning, what is killing the numbers in British Columbia and North America, and some solutions we can do to help fix the problem.
Yes, that's very well said.
I'll let Captain Conservationist.
Okay, so steelhead are anadromous fish, so it means like they go in and out of the rivers and the ocean several times to spawn. And they can do that for up to like 13 years or whatnot there. Usually more around 9 or 10. And that is making them more susceptible to diseases and like all the kind of sickness that kills fish.
Yeah. So would that like affect other fish as well? Is that why the numbers are going down, or?
Well,
Alright, gentlemen. Why are these fish dying, and what is causing these low numbers?
So one of the reasons why I believe that steelhead population is going down in numbers is because of these chum fishermen dragging their nets, and while doing so, they
bycatch.
Bycatch.
Right,
Thank you. Yeah. They bycatch
and
some numbers of steelhead, and
they get caught in nets.
Yeah. Yeah, well said.
So do they end up like dying in the process, and then
they end up dying because they just bring them out of water.
They run out of
oxygen.
Yeah, and essentially a gill net is exactly what it's called.
Right.
It catches a fish by its gills, and if you mess up its gills, then they die.
Okay.
And they don't have a quota to keep the steelhead,
Right.
so they just catch them and throw them back dead, basically.
Wow.
So that would be one of our reasons, correct?
Yes.
Would you agree that pollution might be another?
pollution.
Yeah, pollution is
Pollution's always been a big problem with any type of fish,
affecting
but
also other species of fish, but steelhead being one of them.
Yep.
So, Thomas, do diseases play a part in why the numbers are so low this year? Or in the
Yes.
couple years?
So since steelhead live for a number of years and go back into the ocean to spawn, they're more likely to catch diseases, and many parasites can affect the fish in the ocean, so which causes like diseases like internal bleeding in the fish, and like they get and they die and stuff.
yeah,
so.
some diseases affect like the skeletal structure of them and stuff too. So it's like,
And their gills.
yeah.
I remember their gills.
So like they're unable to swim back up and spawn, which means that they can't, which is like why the numbers are decreasing.
Alright.
Yeah.
Now, ready? Okay.
Hold on,
So,
it's on my head.
I hear steelhead are anadromous fish. What does that mean?
So anadromous means that a fish can live in fresh and salt water, and mainly from river to the ocean. But so.
Could you give an example of like another anadromous fish?
Yeah, I can. So there's a trout called the cutthroat, and it lives in salt water and then migrates to the fresh water to spawn. That's called a C1 cutthroat.
So, after spawning, does it affect steelhead in any way?
Well, after spawning, a steelhead becomes a kelp, which, like, they can spawn several times, but a lot of the time they become too tired and, like, exhausted and usually starving because they haven't eaten in a while, that they don't have the energy to make it back out to the ocean and live along another year or two.
Well, that's fascinating.
That's interesting.
Very.
So, how do hatcheries affect steelhead?
So hatcheries is a topic, and you can debate whether it's good or bad for steelhead. It could be good because for numbers that are decreasing, they can help increase numbers.
Yep.
Right, Finley?
Yeah, that's very true.
So like returning steelhead, they can help like nurture them and like just get like the eggs and everything, like the rate, like the percentage of the eggs that'll survive and everything.
Well, it's like instead of the eggs just being dumped in the river and having chances of being washed away and eaten before they hatch, the majority of the eggs are hatched in the facility and grown to small like fry and then released.
And there's no danger of like other predators like going after the eggs or anything. So the percentage of the steelhead returning is like way higher than.
And how is this a negative?
Well, their genetics become inferior when they mess around with the eggs and stuff to try and create more of them.
Yeah. So when they return to like the habitat, like they're not used to like going into those environment changes and everything like that.
Yeah. So they have a smaller chance of returning as those smaller fish, or the fish that were just born naturally, but instead when there's 10,000 more of them per se, then you're still going to get a higher percentage back usually. But
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Alright, so when did the decrease in steelhead numbers begin?
So it was around the 1950s when the colonization of the West Coast had finished, and everyone was really trying to just find food, and so the rivers were a great source of food for fish, and there was lots of steelhead, and they just became overfished after time, and that's really
yeah, because like back in the day when there's no limit, so people are catching
with big nets and everything too.
Well,
Like, not even fishing.
Yeah, there's any method was legal. They could use
Like
barbs, harpoons, like nets.
Yeah.
They could trap fish in pools and stuff. And
Yeah. And I bet everybody lived near the river too.
yeah, it was all because that was their main water source too, majority of the time. And when you're keeping like 20 fish per person every day, it just decimates anything living there.
Yeah.
And so where's all this happening? Like you said, it's only in North America, or is it all around the world?
it's mainly on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I think,
Mainly North America,
Yeah.
West Coast.
Yeah, in the rivers around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywhere from like all the way down in Florida all the way up.
Yeah.
Alright, so what are some solutions like to these low numbers? Like what can people start doing?
Well, the rules on steelhead fishing are pretty well put down in the way that you're not allowed to keep them anymore. You're allowed to fish, but you have to get them back in the water as quick as you can and all that. But there are still people that don't follow the rules. All the time it'll be new fishers or people fishing from other countries that might not have read the rules or
Yeah,
they
they're
didn't
just not
understand
aware.
them.
Yeah.
And they're not aware, and then it ends up becoming a poaching issue, and people are killing them, and you're only having your however many fish coming up.
Yeah.
And are there fines for these
Yes.
laws? Like how big are they?
I don't think there's
Like it's like
price
they can
fine.
confiscate.
Yeah, they can
your
confiscate
gear.
everything. Like
from-
literally from your house to your fishing gear
Yeah.
to your car, like everything.
And
Money.
your licenses
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
suspended.
It's
and then,
pretty big. Like
and then after all that, you're in the system, and it's like
I feel like it's considered almost like as a crime.
Yeah,
It
it
is,
is.
yeah.
And is
And,
there, like-
and if someone sees you bringing out a steelhead, you're probably gonna get
Yeah.
clocked or.
yeah.
What they
like,
have to
catch
realize
other
is like,
fishers could come in, and you could really get beaten up. Back.
we're just waiting for like the population to like rise back up, and then
Mhm.
hopefully if that happens the next couple of years, we can like start catching them and keeping them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And are there like area restrictions, like certain rivers you can't fish, certain areas?
Yeah, certain rivers are closed down if they notice that the numbers are getting too low and whatnot, and always around hatcheries and stuff. There's no fishing, and
Yeah, like
Some-
right now in Gold River, they
they just
They
closed the river
yeah.
down because the return wasn't strong enough,
Yeah.
and like just really anywhere where there could be like a spawning bed or something that they know of, and they could just be like no fishing here because that's like the end of the fish's journey a lot of the time, so they want them to get there safely and without being harassed in there.
And is there any other solutions, like with pollution and?
like pollution is like a problem for all fish. Like sure it affects steelhead,
Yeah.
but like not in the same ways. Like pinks are affected by like the pollution, like the coho as
Yeah,
well.
all salmon,
Yeah.
and even and honestly, all animals are affected by pollution, all marine and
Yeah,
land. Like,
anything, but it doesn't affect them as much. Like that's not the main reason why they're not returning
yeah,
and why we have such a low population of fish.
but yeah, probably the biggest impact on steelhead would definitely be the chum fishery that
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
when
for sure.
the nets. Yeah.
because they're all swimming in the same water, their return is around the same time, and
Mhm.
when it's like nets are scooping up schools, a steelhead could just be hanging in with the chum, and
Yeah.
then next thing you know, it's dead and thrown back in the water for.
I think another way we could help is probably like put restrictions on the nets or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure about that. Like that's
Maybe-
that way of fishing if it's
Yeah.
respectful to the
Yeah.
environment and everything. Especially in like British Columbia where
Mhm.
like we like really like have respect for our environment and all of
Mhm.
our things like that. So
We have one of the nicest environments in the world, and
yeah.
better stop taking that for granted and do something about it to keep it the way it is.
Right.
Great, boys. Well, thanks for that. That was pretty informative.
Yeah, no problem.
If you ever need any other, advice deer hunt,
Yeah, you can download our podcast on
iTunes.
iTunes.
Yeah, ready? Thanks for tuning in, folks. See you on the next one.
You pound it, noggin.
Throw.